Well, hello, Michelle Jones. How are
Hi,
you?
Rose.
Okay, so I heard that people call you the vegetable lady.
That's right. Yes, it's a funny name that stuck after we had this amazing event in Wow, where I was introducing herbs and vegetables and healthy living in
Oh,
our church. Yeah.
and so then somebody just called you the vegetable lady, and then it just stuck. And so people have called you that. Now, here's the problem with me knowing that is I'll be saying that, Michelle Jones, the vegetable lady, right? And then people are going to be like, Rose, what the heck are you saying?
Yeah,
So,
we actually didn't realize that it was just in one Wow event, and then this woman stands up and she goes, "You know that vegetable lady?" And then I go, "Who vegetable lady?" They go, "You know her, Michelle." Oh, okay, Michelle's the vegetable lady.
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Vegetarian. So
I love it. The vegetable lady. Oh my gosh. Well, vegetable lady, tell us about your story. Tell us about how you got involved in all of this. And here's the thing is we've got this 5DP that's coming up here in about a week and a half. And this one this one seems like now I've only been a partaker of three 5DPs, and they've all it's just like progressively gotten, you know, more extraordinary as we continue on. And so I want to hear your story, and how you go back with these 5DPs. And yeah, so just tell us who you are. Tell us, yeah, all of that.
um, all right, so there's a few things there that you've asked for. So let me first introduce myself. So I'm Michelle
Yeah.
Jones. We lived in Colombo from 2010. Oh, sorry, is that right? Yeah, that's right. 2010, and we were there for about 3 years. My husband's an Australian diplomat,
Oh.
and so our lifestyle is such that we move places, countries, and homes every 3 years.
Oh my goodness.
So Sri Lanka was going to be our home. And when I was in Sri Lanka, I worked in a clinic called Revival.
Okay.
And Revival had mostly physiotherapists, and I was there as a nutritionist and a wellness consultant. In
Okay.
one of my in one of my consultations, Tamara Raymond, who I'm sure you guys have met
Yes,
through the
yes.
Wow preaching,
I
brought in
love, sorry. I love her teaching. I mean, when she teaches, yes, it's amazing. So
She's
anyway,
amazing.
sorry, go
That's
ahead.
right.
Mhm.
Yes. So she comes in and she introduces me to Pastor Neil.
Oh,
So Pastor Neil walks in and I do my usual consultation with them. And he asks me and says, "So, do you truly believe that man can live forever?" And I thought, trick question. So the reason he asks that is I always say that the body can heal itself. I called myself what did I call myself before? What was that thing that Michael Jackson called himself? The immortalist.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson and the vegetable lady.
That's right. So my banner before that even came out said immortalist. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and
Wow.
that got a lot of feedback and remarks, and not everyone was happy about that. But that's how I felt. I felt like, if you were provided the right tools, your body can live longer.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I said to Pastor. And I said, you know what? Provided everything that your body needs, your body can last forever. And you can live forever. And he goes, "Ah, great answer. You should meet Kirby." And I go, "Kirby? Who's Kirby?"
Oh my
So
goodness, that's awesome.
that was the start of how I met people in Wow. So I joined the first meeting. I Prior to that, the only crazy um, preacher that I knew was Joel Austin. So I
Okay.
came from a very Catholic background,
Uh-huh.
so very conservative background. I went to school with nuns, and
Oh,
so and my mom was very very strict. So
sure.
listening to Joel Austin, I thought, wow, this is a different way of understanding how
Mhm.
Christ was, how Christ is.
Mhm.
And I kind of loved it. When I went to Wow, it was like Joel Austin 100 times crazier. And
I'm sure.
am I ready for this? I wasn't quite sure. And if you've heard the band, and I don't know if you've met all the other guys in Wow. So
Wait,
Kalindi is this woman
wait,
that was
are you,
dancing.
okay, sorry. Are you talking about the boys?
The boys, that's right. But there's also Jude Pereira, who loves
Yeah.
dancing and goes crazy. Kalindi does that as well. And everyone would just dance and go nuts.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, am I ready for this? I'm not quite sure. But it was quite interesting. So we came back a second time. And, after that second time, we were just hooked. And I think
Wow.
the thing that I loved the most with that culture is that it wasn't just Christians. They
Mhm.
had Christians, they had Buddhists, they had Muslims, they had
Mhm.
Catholics, and everyone was there, and there was
Yeah.
no judgment.
So
There was
good.
just over flowing of love. And
Yeah.
and I've been to churches where they go, look, we're open to receiving everyone. Come in, this
Uh-huh.
is about love. And as soon as you walk in, they slam you for your beliefs. And that
Right.
was never something I felt with Wow. Wow was just so accepting of everyone.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to make friends in Wow.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing experience for us.
Yeah.
My son would run around and start preaching, not preaching, but praising, and it was
Aw.
something that we were used to, so
Sure.
it was such an amazing and a
Mhm.
welcome change.
So you
And
were, so you would consider yourself an early adopter to WOW,
yes, yes,
to WOW
definitely
life? Yeah. Oh my gosh,
definitely
that's
an early
awesome.
adopter, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So okay, so how many 5DPs have you been a
yeah,
part of?
so I would have been a part of maybe about four or even five DPs, but it wasn't five DPs straight away back then. So it
Oh,
started off as a seven DP.
not seven.
And I remember, I mean, if you guys know about Kirby shares everything that he experiences and everything that he knows.
Oh,
And he was, um, he had been into the breatharian lifestyle. So we were given that experience when we did our program.
oh my
And I'm
gosh.
a nutritionist. So I'm a naturopath, I'm a herbalist, I'm a nutritionist.
Yeah.
And hearing that he was going for days and days without drinking, and I was thinking, oh my God, this guy's gonna kill himself. You know, I trust Kirby for what he's able to do and the word,
Yeah.
and I was just so amazed by what he's been able to do. And the thing about Kirby is he also it's not all about him, it's about what he can give others and how he can embrace everyone else
Yes.
into not that lifestyle but into the understanding that we can do
Mhm.
so much more.
Yeah.
And he understood my struggle in understanding what he was doing. So he would
Right.
actually come to me, he would have himself tested, he'd go, check me out, see if
Oh,
I'm doing anything
yeah.
wrong, let me know how I can improve this and that. And I love that. I loved how, despite his greatness, he actually trusted me,
Yeah. Yeah.
with his health and with his uh, the way he ate or not ate at that time. So, and yeah, it was very humbling experience for me.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we did the first 7-day program, he approached me and said, "Look, this is what we're looking at." Telling people this is the guideline we've got. Would you look at it and give us your suggestions? So he wanted to make sure that although he was able to get through not eating, not drinking, he knew that others would struggle in that path in the beginning,
Oh, for
especially.
sure. Yes.
And he wanted to make sure everything was safe for everyone. And that's another
Yeah.
thing, there's no pride, there's no you know what, if I can do it, you guys should be able to do it. If you
Right,
are
right.
great, if you've got God in you, you should be able to do it. It was never that. It was always, let's keep everyone safe. Let's keep everyone at peace,
Yeah.
with what we're going to go through.
Yeah.
And let's guide those who have a lot of skepticism in them as well.
Yeah.
So it was a very humbling experience. I didn't get to join the first program because we were packing up and heading home, and my husband was skeptical about it
Yeah.
and saying,
Sure.
I don't want you to get sick when we're just about to go home, and so on. But I did attend the 2014 7-day program in Perth. So that was amazing. So the first 7-day program in Perth, I was there. I was a part of it. And as I said, as I shared with you earlier, we had the whole breatharian thing of no water. And
Oh,
I was actually excited and not scared about it. I was
yeah.
excited because we were there. We were with Kirby. I felt like, oh, we could do anything. And
Right.
I've seen him. I've tested him. I've checked him. I've assessed his health, and I've seen how he did not kill himself in the process. He did not weaken his system in the process. Instead, he
Yeah.
actually strengthened himself. So I was excited about doing that. And what I have to say is, because I've attended different programs, and although I've just done 4 or 5 of them myself, I actually was there to witness the others and listen to what was going on, and guide others as they went through it.
Mm.
I realized that each program was different.
Yeah.
And even if you attend all the different programs, the way it impacts you is different. Because remember, it's all about building your faith and realizing
Yeah.
that man does not live on bread and water alone,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
the word of God is even stronger and um,
Yeah.
more amazing than that, more filling than that.
Yeah.
And it's hearing all that, and getting the confirmations from Kirby, believing that, and just filling yourself with love. And every time you go through it, you seem to break
Right.
a
Right. Yes.
a barrier,
Yeah.
a fear in your system that you might not even know. I mean, every time you break something, or you get over a fear, you think, oh, that's it, I'm done. I've
Yeah.
solved that issue.
Right.
It's never going to affect me again. And then
Yeah.
it happens again. Or it affects you a different way. So
Right.
going through this 5-day program isn't just about you building up your health. It's not that. It's actually building your heart, your brain, your spirit,
Yeah.
your
Exactly.
you
Hmm.
know, and
Yeah.
and the Christ in you. Really,
Yeah.
it's about that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say that, because one of the things that I've noticed is that, okay, so now there's 3 5DPs a year, one in April, one in September, one in December. I mean, that's kind of the trend. Now, we don't know that that's always going to be the case, but it just seems like that's been the trend. And it seems like you take a lap around and you cycle up each time you go through a 5DP. It's just been amazing to me. It's like upgrade after upgrade with each session. And this 5DP Sync is going to be, different, than the others, but it's going to be a combination of the others. And so, okay, so the whole fasting thing in the past may not be, it may not be the same this time. And so I'm really, really excited to hear about what's going to come out this time. And yeah, I do think that, all of, what you do is very important for the body, and also, our spirit and how we're going to upgrade. So I'm very excited about you participating in this 5DP and helping the rest of us. So, okay, so do you have, in closing, do you have any like suggestions on how to, how to prepare for this 5DP?
Okay. But before I forget, something just
Oh,
popped into my
sure.
head when you were saying that three,
Yeah.
5 DPs a year. Kirby, you should have 4. There are 4 seasons in a year.
Oh my gosh, that's
I
great.
think it's a good transition in each season in our lives as well. So Kirby, 4.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Jude, did you hear that? Kirby, four,
That's right.
one
So,
a
but
quarter.
for everyone else that's going to be doing this, first thing is just open your mind and your heart into what the possibilities are. When you have something that you're skeptical about or unsure of, there's always something that stops you from going forward. Now, if you just want to sit back and do a little bit of it, that's okay. The
Oh,
whole point is that you join, you listen, you hear, and you immerse yourself in all the promises that Christ and our Father has basically given us.
wow.
And when you do that, it just slowly peels off the layers. So we're like onions, right? So as the
Yeah.
layers get peeled off, you start to realize, okay, wow, this is starting to make me feel lighter about
Yeah.
a lot of other things.
Mm,
If you are unwell and you're worried about it, get in touch with me. I'm a naturopath and I help people with various illnesses and diseases that they're
mm,
worried about. I can guide you through it slowly. We are not going to talk about getting rid of medications or what have you. So just be very careful about that. I don't want you to jump into it and say, okay, I'm going to throw out my medications because this is just going to heal me.
no.
Because you have to remember that although we are meant to not have any of that, although we are meant to be able to just rebuild and heal ourselves,
Mhm.
it'll depend on what season you are in your
Right.
life
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
good.
whether or not your physical being is
Mhm.
able to actually just um, uh, fix itself up,
Yeah,
in this process. There are two parts of us. We have our spiritual, we have our physical sides.
yeah.
We have to actually transition and grow and build them together. And that's what this whole process is.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Be patient with yourself. Don't just jump into it and think, well, if they can do this much, I'm going to do this much.
Oh, yeah.
Trust in your guidance, in your Christ, in your spirit, and trust in what Kirby is trying to also share with you and send your way. Kirby does a lot of these meditations, and as you join in and just open yourself up, you'll actually hear his discussions, his chatter in your head as well. And that's how it's been for us who've been with him from the beginning. There'd be times, Rose, which is just so crazy, where we'd all get together and we'd have we'd catch up for a coffee or a snack, and we'll be in a big group and we start talking about this thing that we had in our head the night before, and all of a sudden we realized it was everything that he was meditating on and sharing with
Yeah.
people. So all
Yeah.
our thoughts and all our dreams and all the chatter that we heard, when we shared it all, just created that whole story of what it was that he was
Wow.
trying to manifest, or he was calling for, or he
Yeah.
was asking about. And that's what we're creating here. What we're
Mhm.
creating is the maturing of our Christ, the maturing of our uh, being as well, our physical being, and the oneness
Yeah.
of one. Because we're
Yeah,
just
that's
one big group, one big,
right.
you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
single structure. So just be open. Just be open. Don't be afraid. There's a lot of us that have gone through this so many times. We can guide you. And don't try to, if you've never done this before, don't try to move 5 steps forward,
Mhm.
because then you also ruin the experience,
Oh,
right?
that's
It
really good.
overwhelm your system if it's not ready.
Yeah.
Trust that Kirby's done this so many times. He's guided so many people. And if you listen to that guidance, you'll actually get to the other end with so much experience, so
Right.
much.
Yeah,
You know,
that's so good. Well, and I'm not a fabulous faster, and so I was so grateful to hear that this 5DP, the focus isn't fasting. So I'm like, whew. because that's just not my forte. Fasting is not my forte. But so Michelle, thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us, and just all that you have to share and all that you've learned. And so thank you. Thank you for, honoring Kirby and Fiona the way that you do. And and thanks for being an early adopter. And I'm excited about this 5DP sync and, where this is going to go. So we're going to have to circle back around on the back end and see what we've gained. So again, thank you. And I appreciate you.
And thank you for having me here. And thank you for you
Absolutely.
guys listening out there.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid of fasting, like Rose was saying, there are different ways to go to the program. So another thing that I just want to put in there, the vegetable lady name was actually from me talking about smoothies and
Oh,
blending and juicing. So
yeah.
in Colombo, I was actually the one that brought in green smoothies, that
Oh,
introduced the whole concept of green smoothies.
that's
So that's
awesome.
something that we can do. We can make
Yes.
soups. We can have so many different ways of going to the program, but it
Yeah.
really is more about hearing the word, hearing the promises,
Yes.
opening yourself up, and seeing how all that can change you.
Yeah. So good. So good. Well, I'm excited about what's to come. So, all right. Well, we'll chat soon, Michelle. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes.
Okay. Bye, you guys.
Bye bye.